All right, good evening. It's wonderful to see so many of you here tonight. Thank you for coming out. They put these titles on these talks, big, bold letters. As a bank insider, I'm shocked. This account setting could cost you thousands. It sounds like, it sounds like something you'd see on the internet at 2 in the morning, doesn't it? A little bit of sizzle, a little bit of scare tactic, maybe. But I want to tell you right here at the start, I approved that title. I approved it because after 45 years in the world of finance, of banking, of investing, from the trading floors in New York to the boardrooms in Zurich, I can tell you that the single most destructive financial mistake I have ever seen, the one that causes the most heartbreak, the most family strife, the most unintentional, gut-wrenching devastation, it isn't a bad stock pick. It isn't buying a house at the top of the market. It's a checkbox. It's a single line on a form you probably filled out 20 years ago and haven't thought about since. A simple, seemingly innocent account setting that most people, especially folks in our age bracket, get completely, catastrophically wrong. And yes, as someone who has sat on the boards of banks, who has helped structure financial products worth billions, I am still, to this day, shocked. I'm shocked that this isn't the first thing they teach you when you open an account. I'm shocked at how quietly and efficiently it can dismantle a lifetime of careful planning. Let me tell you a story. It's a true story. I've changed the names, of course, to protect the family, but the facts are depressingly common. A good friend of mine, we'll call him Jim. Jim was a wonderful man, a retired engineer, meticulous. He planned everything. He had his will drafted by a top-notch lawyer. He had his portfolio balanced, his taxes planned. The man had a 3-ring binder for everything. He had 3 children, all grown, whom he loved dearly and equally. His will was simple. When he passed, his estate was to be divided 3 ways, perfectly even, right down the penny. A few years ago, Jim's health started to decline a bit. Nothing major, just, the usual creaks and groans that come with getting into your 80s. He was having a little trouble getting to the bank, paying the bills on time, so he did what millions of seniors do. He did what seems like the most logical, most responsible thing in the world. He went to his local bank branch with his oldest daughter, Sarah. Sarah lived just a few blocks away, and she was the one who helped him with his groceries, his appointments. She was his rock. He sat down with the banker, a nice young woman who was probably half my age, and said, "I want to add my daughter to my accounts so she can help me pay my bills if I get sick, just to make things easier." And the banker said, "Of course, Mr. Johnson, we can do that right now. We'll just make her a joint owner." Jim signed the form. Sarah signed the form. They shook hands, got a free pen, and went home. An act of convenience, an act of love and trust. 2 years later, Jim passed away peacefully. The 3 children gathered for the reading of the will. The lawyer read it out just as Jim had planned. Everything to be divided 3 ways. The house, the investments, the personal property. But then they got to the bank accounts. Jim's checking and savings. It was a significant amount of money. It was the bulk of his liquid cash, nearly $400,000 he'd saved over a lifetime, and the lawyer had to deliver the news. That money, that $400,000, was not part of the estate. It was not going to be divided 3 ways. It wasn't governed by the will at all. The moment Jim passed away, every single penny in those accounts, by operation of law, became the sole, undisputed property of Sarah. Her 2 brothers got nothing, not a dime. You could have heard a pin drop in that room. The 2 sons were looking at their sister, bewildered. Sarah, to her credit, was just as stunned. She said, No, that wasn't Dad's intention. We were all supposed to share. But it didn't matter what his intention was. It didn't matter what the will said. The document he signed at the bank, that simple form, that little checkbox, had created what's called a joint tenancy with rights of survivorship. JTWROS. Remember that acronym. It sounds boring. It sounds like financial jargon, but it is a legal hand grenade. And what it means is simple. The survivor gets it all, automatically, instantly. It completely bypasses your will. It bypasses probate court. It bypasses everything. It is a trump card that beats almost anything else you have in place. Now, you might be thinking, well, if Sarah is a good person, she'll just share the money, right? And maybe she will. But now, it's a gift. She now has to gift her brothers their inheritance. And if that amount is over the annual gift tax exclusion, which it certainly was, there are significant tax implications. She'd have to file a gift tax return. It becomes a complicated, messy, taxable event instead of a clean, tax-free inheritance. But what if Sarah wasn't so agreeable? What if she said, "You know what? Dad put my name on the account. He must have wanted me to have it. I was the one taking him to the doctor, not you guys." I have seen that happen. I have seen families torn apart, siblings who never speak again, all because of that one signature on that one form. The bank teller, in an effort to be helpful, in an effort to make things easy, set off a bomb that detonated years later. And here's the other part that really, really gets me. It's not just about what happens after you're gone. The danger starts the second you add that person to your account. Let's go back to Jim and Sarah. The moment Sarah's name went on that account as a joint owner, she didn't just have the ability to pay his bills. She owned 100% of that money, just as much as he did. She could have, legally, walked into that bank the next day and withdrawn every single penny, and there is nothing Jim could have done about it. It was her money too. But it gets worse. Let's say Sarah, a wonderful daughter, gets into a terrible car accident and is sued, or she goes through a messy divorce, or her small business fails and she has creditors. Who do you think those creditors are coming for? They can legally attach and seize the funds in any account that has her name on it. That includes your life savings. Your money that you worked 50 years to build could be wiped out because your co-owner, your child, fell on hard times. You are exposing your entire financial life to the risks of their financial life. Their debts, their lawsuits, their divorces become your problems. And you did it for convenience. I was having lunch a few years back with an old friend, a fellow named Paul Volcker. Some of you might remember him, formidable man, ran the Fed back in the day. We weren't talking about interest rates or global economics. We were talking about our own families, our own plans. And he said something I've never forgotten. He said, "The greatest threat to most people's wealth isn't the stock market. It's the complexity of the law meeting the simplicity of life." That's what this is. The simplicity of life is, I need my daughter to be able to pay my cable bill. The complexity of the law is joint tenancy, creditor claims, probate avoidance, and testamentary intent. And when they collide without proper guidance, the results are just devastating. So, what's the alternative? What should Jim have done? What should you do? Because there is a right way to do this. There is a simple, elegant, and effective solution that accomplishes the exact same goal without any of the terrifying risks. And it's sitting right there at the very same bank on a different form that, for some reason, nobody ever seems to talk about. There are two separate problems Jim was trying to solve. Let's break them down. Problem number one. I need someone to help manage my money and pay my bills while I'm alive, in case I'm unable to. Problem number two. I want my money to go to my heirs quickly and easily after I pass, without the hassle of court. The joint account seems to solve both, but as we've seen, it's a disastrously clumsy tool. It's like using a chainsaw to open a letter. You might get it open, but you're going to make a mess. Let's tackle problem number one first. Lifetime assistance. The correct legal tool for this is not joint ownership. It is a durable power of attorney. A power of attorney, or a POA, is a legal document where you appoint someone, an agent, to act on your behalf in financial matters. You are not giving them ownership of your money. You are giving them authority. It's a crucial difference. They are your fiduciary. They have a legal duty to act in your best interest. A joint owner has no such duty. They are a co-owner acting in their own best interest. With a properly drafted durable power of attorney, your daughter Sarah could walk into the bank, show them the document, and they would give her access to sign checks, pay bills, and manage the account for you. But her name isn't on the title. Her creditors can't touch it. She can't legally take the money and fly to Vegas. If she did, it would be theft, elder abuse, a criminal offense. You retain full ownership and full protection. It solves the convenience problem perfectly and safely. The durable part is important too. A standard power of attorney might end if you become incapacitated. A durable one survives that. It stays in effect, which is exactly when you need it most. It's the right tool for the job. You get this done with. An estate planning attorney. It costs a little money up front, but it can save you and your family hundreds of thousands of dollars and immeasurable heartache down the road. Okay, so that's problem one solved. Now for the big one. Problem number two, making sure your money goes to the right people after you're gone, without causing a family war. Jim wanted to avoid probate. That's the court process for settling an estate. It can be slow, it's public record, and it can be expensive. So his instinct to keep his bank accounts out of probate was a good one. He just used the wrong method. The correct method, the setting I wish every single person in this room would go check on tomorrow, is called Payable on Death, or POD. For investment accounts, it's called Transfer on Death, or TOD. It is the single most important and underutilized tool in basic estate planning. Here's how it works. You go to your bank. You ask for a Payable on Death beneficiary form. It's a one-page document. On that form, you name who you want to receive the money in that account when you pass away. You can name one person, you can name 10 people, you can specify percentages. You can say, I want my 3 children, Sarah, Michael, and David, to receive the funds in this account in equal 1/3 shares. You sign it. You hand it back to the banker. It gets attached to your account, and you're done. Now let's look at what you've accomplished. First, during your lifetime, nothing changes. It is 100% your account. Your name is the only one on it. You have total control. The beneficiaries you named have zero access. They can't see the balance. They can't make withdrawals. Their creditors can't touch it. Their divorce attorney doesn't even know it exists. It is completely, totally, unequivocally yours. Second, the moment you pass away, the money in that account is transferred directly to the people you named, in the percentages you specified. All they need to do is present a death certificate to the bank. The money is theirs, usually within days. And here's the magic. It completely avoids probate, just like a joint account, but it does so without disinheriting anyone. It follows your exact wishes. It honors your will's intent, even though it operates outside the will. It's clean, it's private, it's fast, and it's free. It is, in my opinion, one of the most brilliant and simple instruments in the entire financial system. And the fact that people are still being pushed into joint accounts for convenience is, frankly, borderline professional malpractice. I remember talking to my own father about this years and years ago. He was a practical man, a farmer from Nebraska. He didn't trust a lot of fancy Wall Street talk. He just sold a piece of land and had a fair bit of cash sitting in his account at the local bank in his small town. He told me, I put your sister's name on my account so she can help me out. I took a deep breath, and I flew to Nebraska the next weekend. I sat down with him and the bank president, a man he'd known for 50 years, and I explained all of this, just as I'm explaining it to you. The creditor risk, the unintentional disinheritance of me and my other brother, the potential for family conflict. The bank president, a good man, just sort of nodded along. When I was done, he looked at my dad and said, You know, he's right, Charlie. We just usually do the joint account because it's faster. The form's right on top. Because it's faster. Because the form is on top. Think about that. The path of least resistance for the bank employee can fundamentally alter your entire estate plan. We spent 20 minutes there. We took my sister's name off the account. We filled out a Payable on Death form, naming all 3 of us kids as equal beneficiaries. And we had him sign a durable power of attorney at a local lawyer's office that afternoon, naming my sister as his agent. Problem solved. Total cost, a couple $100 for the lawyer. Potential amount of money and family harmony saved, priceless. Now this POD and TOD strategy, it's fantastic for liquid assets. Bank accounts, brokerage accounts, non-retirement accounts. It's straightforward, but your financial life is probably more complicated than that. You have a house, you have an IRA or a 401k, you have life insurance. Each of these has its own rules. And this brings me to a broader and perhaps more important point. Your estate plan is not one document. It's not just your will. It's a system of documents and designations that all have to work together, and they all operate under a kind of hierarchy. At the very top of that hierarchy are the beneficiary designations. Think about your life insurance policy. Who gets that money? The person you named on the beneficiary form. It doesn't matter what your will says. Think about your IRA or 401k. Who gets that money? The person you named on the beneficiary form. Again, the will is irrelevant. And as we've just discussed, who gets the money in your joint bank account? The other person on the title. The will is irrelevant. Who gets the money in your pod bank account? The person you named on the pod form. The will is irrelevant. You see the pattern here? A huge portion of most people's wealth, their retirement accounts, their life insurance, their bank accounts, passes outside of their will. The will only controls the leftovers, the things that don't have a specific title or beneficiary designation attached to them. This is called the probate estate. And for many people, it's a surprisingly small fraction of their total net worth. This is why one of the most important financial checkups you can do, especially as you get older, is what I call A beneficiary audit. It's simple. Tonight, or this weekend, I want you to make a list. On the left side of a piece of paper, write down every single financial account you have: your checking account, your savings, your brokerage account, your IRA, your old 401k from your last job, your life insurance policy, everything. On the right side of the paper, I want you to write down who you think is the beneficiary of that account. Then, next week, your homework is to get on the phone or go online and verify every single one. Get it in writing if you can. You will be shocked at what you find. I guarantee it. You'll find an ex-spouse still listed on a 401k from 25 years ago. You'll find you named your mother on a life insurance policy, but she passed away a decade ago and you never named a contingent or secondary beneficiary. You'll find that an account you thought was just in your name is actually a joint account with one of your children, because you set it up that way 15 years ago to help them with college and forgot all about it. These designations are the hidden wiring of your estate. And if the wires are crossed, if they're going to the wrong places, it doesn't matter how beautifully designed the rest of the house is. The whole thing can short circuit. Now, there is another level to this, a more advanced strategy. For people with more complex assets, maybe you own a business or multiple properties, or you want to leave money to a grandchild with special needs, or you're in a blended family and you want to provide for your current spouse while ensuring your assets eventually go to your children from a prior marriage. For situations like these, PIOD and TOD forms might not be enough. This is where the Revocable Living Trust comes in. You've all heard the term. It sounds intimidating, expensive, something only for the Rockefellers. It's not. A trust is, at its heart, just a bucket. It's an empty legal entity that you create. Then you start putting your assets into the bucket. You retitle your house in the name of the trust. You retitle your non-retirement investment account in the name of the trust. You make the trust the beneficiary of your life insurance. You are the creator of the trust, the grantor, and you are also the manager of the trust, the trustee. So during your lifetime, absolutely nothing changes. It's your bucket. You can put things in, you can take things out, you can sell the house that's in the trust. You can spend the money that's in the trust. You have 100% control, just like you do now. It's revocable, meaning you can change it or cancel it at any time. But here's where the magic happens. In the trust document, you name a successor trustee. This is the person or institution you want to take over managing the bucket when you can no longer do so, either because of incapacity or death. And you lay out the rules. You spell out exactly who gets what, when, and how. Upon my death, my successor trustee, my daughter Sarah, shall distribute the assets of the trust in 3 equal shares to Sarah, Michael, and David. Or you can get more specific. My son Michael has a spending problem, so his share will be held in the trust, and the trustee will pay him $2,000 a month for his lifetime. Or, I want to provide for my second wife for the rest of her life. The assets in the trust will be used for her health and support. Upon her death, any remaining assets will be distributed to my children from my first marriage. A trust allows you to maintain control from beyond the grave, in a way. It's the ultimate tool for ensuring your intentions are carried out precisely. And what's the biggest benefit? Everything in the trust, the house, the brokerage accounts, everything, completely and totally avoids probate. The successor trustee simply steps in and follows your instructions. There are no courts, no delays, no public filings. It's a completely private and efficient transfer of assets. A trust essentially combines the benefits of a will, detailed instructions, with the benefits of a PIOD, probate avoidance. It's the gold standard. It costs more to set up, yes. You'll need a good estate planning attorney. It might cost you a few $1,000s, but compare that to the cost of probate, which can be 3 to 8% of your estate's value. On a $1 million estate, that's $30,000 to $80,000 in lawyer fees, executor fees, and court costs, not to mention the months or even years of delay and the family stress. The trust pays for itself many times over. So let's bring it all back to where we started. That simple checkbox, that joint account setting. It's an attempt to solve a real problem. The problem of financial management as we age and the problem of asset transfer after we die. It's a shortcut. And like so many shortcuts in life, it's fraught with peril. I remember a conversation I had with my first real mentor, a brilliant old-school guy on the street named Bill. He was tough as nails. He once told me, in finance, anything that seems easy is usually dangerous. And that stuck with me. Adding a joint owner is easy. It takes 5 minutes. It's dangerous. Setting up a pod designation is also easy, and it's safe. Drafting a durable power of attorney takes a bit more effort, but it's the right way. Creating a trust is the most effort, but it offers the most protection and control. Your job as the steward of your own wealth, the wealth you spent a lifetime building, is to match the tool to the job. Don't use a chainsaw when you need a scalpel. Don't use a joint account when you really need a power of attorney and a payable on death designation. So I'm asking you, I am imploring you, to do that beneficiary audit. Go home and look. Pull out a bank statement right there under your name. What does it say? Does it say John Smith? Or does it say John Smith and Jane Smith JTROS? That little acronym JTWROS is the key. If you see that, and if your intention is for that money to be divided according to your will, you have a ticking time bomb on your hands, and you need to go to the bank next week and defuse it. You'll walk in and say, I'd like to change the titling on my account. I want to remove my daughter as a joint owner. They'll have you both sign a form. Then you say, now I would like to add a payable on death designation to this account, and you'll fill out that simple form listing all your heirs in the proportions you want. It will take you less than half an hour, and in that half an hour, you may very well be saving your family. You will be preserving your legacy. You will be ensuring that your final financial act on this earth is one of peace and clarity, not one of confusion and conflict. You know, we spend our whole lives working, saving, investing. We worry about market downturns, about inflation, about running out of money. We do all this hard work on the accumulation side, but we spend almost no time thinking about the distribution side. How is it all going to unwind? How is it going to pass to the next generation? And the financial industry, frankly, doesn't do a great job of helping. They're focused on gathering assets, on selling you products. They're not always focused on the intricate human details of what happens at the end. It's not where they make their money. So you have to be your own advocate. You have to be the CEO of your own estate. It doesn't matter if you have $100,000 or $100 million. The principles are exactly the same. The risks are the same. The potential for heartbreak is the same. The greatest gift you can give your children is not your money. It's clarity. It's a plan that is so clear, so well documented, and so legally sound that there is nothing to fight about. It allows them to grieve for you without the toxic intrusion of financial squabbles. It preserves their relationships with each other, which is a legacy far more valuable than any dollar amount. That one account setting, that joint tenancy with rights of survivorship, is the enemy of clarity. It creates ambiguity. It conflicts with your will. It opens the door to misunderstanding, to resentment, and to litigation. It's a simple choice, a single signature, that can undo a lifetime of love and careful planning. So please, take this seriously. This isn't just some dry financial lecture. This is about family. It's about your legacy. It's about peace of mind. Check your accounts. Check your beneficiary designations. Talk to an estate planning attorney. Get your house in order. Don't leave a mess for the people you love most. Don't let a simple checkbox have the last word. You have the power, right now, to make sure your story ends the way you wrote it. Thank you. I think we have some time for questions.